Welcome to the Metal Cave with your host Steve Gower. Wanted to discuss today, really my first full-length video of what got me into the genre of heavy metal and hard rock. Um, and the name of that band that got me into metal or hard rock is KIS. They've influenced a lot of bands, man. I mean, and it's funny the influences that the amount of influence they had on different bands. Like I think of one of the ones that I find almost amusing is that like Pantera was so heavily influenced by Kiss. I mean, who'd have thought it? But anyway, I wanted to talk about the year of 1978. I was 5 years old, and I knew, like, before Kiss that I liked music. Okay, my sister was older than I was. She was 10 years older, so she had a real head start on me. The only problem with her record collection was it had a lot of, at the time, it had Loretta Lynn and Conway Twitty and the Oak Ridge Boys and whatnot. But she also liked a lot of pop music, like, and this is funny, like Leif Garrett and Christy McNichol and Jimmy McNichol, and I'm trying to think, John Snyder when he tried his hand at music, David Cassidy, whatever, Sean Cassidy. And so, but she had a band called the Bay City Rollers in her collection. She had the 8-track of a live album they put out. I remember in particular the song Yesterday's Hero, and loved it, man. I mean, like the melodies of the song like pulled at my the strings of my young heart, right? And just, I don't know, kind of got me, right? Well, anyway, she had an Aerosmith 8-track of Draw the Line, and I heard a little bit of that. But anyway, I knew that I liked music, okay? Well, in the summer of 78, I think it was the summer, I had an Aquaman comic book, I think it was Aquaman, that had like a back page ad on the inside, on the glossy part of the comic book, the way they used to be, that had like the solo albums that Kiss was getting ready to come out with that September. And I remember seeing that, and I liked dinosaurs and movie monsters and things like that. But so that really caught my attention, and like the collars, on the solo albums, the different collars for each member of the band, really would attract a young kid's attention. I'm sure that was the idea, right? Well, anyway, I didn't even know how to read yet, and I think I barely started kindergarten, if at all. And anyway, I asked my parents what it was all about and stuff, and so I was just hooked by the way they looked. I think as I was riding the bus in kindergarten that we were trading bubblegum cards at the time of Kiss, and I don't know. We knew we liked them before we even heard them, I think, and that is true. I mean, it's weird how that works. Anyway, Mom and Dad told me that if I was to get a Kiss record, that I'd have to save my allowance for that. They weren't paying for that. So I got $1 every other week for my allowance. And so I thought like $7 or $8 I had to save up for the album. And I saved up for 14 weeks for $7. And we went to the record bar in the mall in Terre Haute, Indiana, Honey Creek Mall. And they had a whole setup of Kiss. I mean, they had like posters. They had all the albums set up just right. The whole display end cap thing. They had belt buckles and whatnot. And I remember just being overwhelmed by it. I wasn't so sure that I wanted one of the solo albums. I remember thinking that. But I did have my heart set on the Gene Simmons solo album. And a 5-year-old kid, mind you, is very forgiving of what he hears on the record, especially when he has not a whole lot to compare it to. So, this particular album, in of itself, I just have the CD copy. I don't have my old records. I wish I did. I have some records, but they were not the ones that I grew up with. But anyway, this particular album, man, this is what started it all. And I remember buying this And being in the car on the way home, and it was dark, right? But I'm sitting here tearing the album open, you know, getting the puzzle poster out and looking at it, folding it, unfolding it, you know. I probably just about wore it out before I got home. And then I had like the fan club merchandise order form, and we sent off for the KISS Army that night. I was 5 years old, becoming a member of the KISS Army. But I remember in particular listening to the song Living in Sin, and I love that. I still love that song, and I still love this album. I'm not going to lie. I have no guilty pleasures. If I like it, I like it, and that's the way it is. But anyway, this started it off, and then like I remember my parents told me if I went to the doctor's appointment for my dad one day that they would buy me a record if I could behave myself. And man, I really acted good, and they bought me the Peter Criss solo album. And I took this home, and I remember thinking, man, that's different from Gene Simmons' solo album, right? And then, you know, so on and so forth. I think I got Kiss Alive 2 as my next album. I had to save forever for that. It was a double gatefold record. And I was just thrilled with Kiss, man. Kiss was everything to me. Like, it overtook the dinosaur thing and the movie monster thing, although I still like those things too. And these two albums I found in the bargain bin at the local Pomida dime store in Robinson, Illinois. The corners were cut off because they were in the bargain bin, because like Casablanca shipped like 1 million of each album, and that was too much. It was kind of a disaster. But anyway, I got the best of the 4 solo albums last, because I think these 2 albums rock really hard. I like them all, even like Peter Criss's. Anyway, I want to put a disclaimer out here, though. I am not the type of person to, like, just because a band puts an album out, it doesn't make it gold to me. Maybe when I was a little kid, yes. But now, like, what Kiss is doing now, man, if Paul Stanley can't sing the songs, I don't want to watch it, man. And you know, being close to 70 years old, I'm forgiving, but that kind of runs the fantasy for me. But on to what got me into heavy metal. This is my favorite Kiss album. This is Hotter Than Hell. This was the album that my parents swore to me they would never ever let me buy. And I got into Kiss when I was 5 years old, mind you. They stayed strong for quite a long time. But when I was 12 and in the 7th grade, and I was getting into everything from AC/DC to Iron Maiden, they caved. They caved to let me get this. Yeah, I remember feeling so guilty because I bought it, you know, because they're saying, well, you can get it if you want. If that's what you want to do, you know, the guilt trip thing. Yeah, that's what they did. But God bless them, it's okay. But anyway, I do love this album. And this is, to me, the darkest Kiss album. The only album that I can think of that would be really heavier is maybe Revenge or Lick It Up. And Lick It Up's heavy. It's sleazy too. It's a good album. I love Lick It Up. I've always loved that album. People can say what they want to say about 80s Kiss, but I had a lot of good times listening to like Lick It Up, Animalize, and Asylum and whatnot. But anyway, Kiss is responsible for me being into heavy metal. I will always be thankful to Gene, Paul, Peter, and Ace for making music that touched me, right? I stuck with him for a long, long time. You know, I went through the Revenge era, and when they reunited back in '96, I got to see him on the second night at Louisville, Kentucky. That's just so cool to me. My wife happened to be able to get canceled tickets, 2 of them for us, and we were able to go because everything sold out so fast, and we had to go to Louisville for it. From Kiss, I moved on to like Motley Crue. I got a copy of Too Fast for Love. I love that album. I like it about as much as I like Shout at the Devil. And it went on from there to Dokken. I was the first person that I knew of that owned Dokken Tooth and Nail when it came out. I saw the Into the Fire video and was just blown away. George Lynch, I didn't know much about shredding back then, but man, it just really was something that got to me. And it went on to like from there to AC/DC. A friend of mine, we would play like Vanguard on his Atari at his house, and his mom had a copy of Back in Black. His parents were a lot younger than mine. And we would listen to the tape, like one side, flip it over, listen to the other, and just keep it going. We never got tired of it. Those really special memories, and it went on from AC/DC to Ozzy to Dio. And I remember when I bought Dio, The Last in Line, my mom, we were at the record bar again in Terre Haute, and she said to me, she said, well, you can get it if you want. I just really wish you wouldn't. I felt once again guilty, and that's all right. That's what parents are for. They're to try to guide us, right? And then I went on to Iron Maiden. Man, that was the evil of the evil as far as I knew back then. I didn't really know much about Venom or Slayer or Celtic Frost. But yeah, so like, I love heavy metal music. I wish that I could express to my children or my kids, they're not really children anymore, kids, how important it is to like respect the artist and really go out and buy a physical copy of the album and listen to it all the way through, because a lot of times you're going to find songs that were released as singles. You're going to find that there were other songs on the album that were way better, and it's like finding your own gold mine of music. Well, I don't know what else to say. I would say to everyone, buy physical copies, man. Buy it. Don't just rent it from iTunes or Spotify and all that stuff. I understand checking stuff out through Spotify, YouTube, whatever. But man, buy physical copies. Keep these bands interested. Maybe not so much KIS. I mean, a lot older, but keep these bands interested in making more art, more music that we can listen to and enjoy, so that generations can keep doing that. It's important. You know what? You'll miss it when it's gone. You will. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you what got me into heavy metal music. And yeah, this is the darkest, heaviest album I feel that KIS really put out. And it's my favorite, and it's been my favorite since since the first time I heard it. So anyway, that's all I have. I'm Steve from the Metal Cave, and thanks for